Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of Grenzer Games Modern Naval Wargame Rules. Today we're going to go through radar classifications, radar ranges, and how the whole radar system works. Now, the radar rules and classification rules are vitally important when it comes to missile combat, which I didn't actually cover in the missile combat video. So I will do a replacement for that video and go into far more depth of the step before the combat and so on and so forth. Anyway, what we have here is an Oodaloy and an Arleigh Burke. Let's move the island out of the way, don't need that just yet. What I'm going to do is describe the classification process that happens between the two of those at their ranges. The game is meant for large-scale combat. We play this on a 4-foot by 4-foot table with 1 centimetre representing 1 nautical mile. 4-foot by 4-foot is 122 nautical miles by 122 nautical miles. Then, you know, I've got a 6-foot by 4-foot table here. I could play on a much bigger table if I wanted to, but as yet we haven't needed to play on a bigger table, which is quite nice with modern warfare. You know, you can keep it to quite a small area and still have a very engaging battle with lots of manoeuvre involved, which is quite surprising. But that all comes down to the radar system in the game. So, as explained last time, we have different classification markings for the units on the table, with dice being used to show different sort of classifications as they happen. So what we'll do first of all is I'll explain the radar and how it works. So these are 2 old playtest ship cards. The playtest rules don't have these anymore. It's exactly the same cards, but they have they don't have search air. What the 2 lists ranges I've redacted here, it was search air, search surface, and search missile. They were just too much information, all exactly the same number, completely unrequired. So it's now just, I've left the search air in, but now it's just search radar and signal radar. Simple as that. Also, the red marking up here on the Arleigh Burke is where I got the Arleigh Burke rating wrong continually, even though we always use the right rating. I will re-upload the rules later on to the Grenzer Games page with the new ratings for the Arleigh Burke and for the one of the Russian missiles which had the wrong signature. So the Arleigh Burke has a search radar bonus of +5. The Oodaloy has a search bonus of +4, and they both have 4+ signatures. Now, what that means is when the game starts, they are rated as unclassified. We then roll a dice, which I seem to have left over this side of the table. There we go. That's always clever. And we add the search characteristics of the ships to the dice roll, and we try and get as high above the target's signature as possible. Equaling the signature isn't enough. You have to get above it, not just equal to it. So, we'll start off with the Arleigh Burke. Now, this happens simultaneously in the game. You will roll a dice for everything on the table and work out all your search ratings and so on and so forth, and so will your opponent, and it all happens simultaneously. There's no requirement to one person searching, or no bonus or benefit to one person searching first and the other person searching second. Just do it whichever way makes the most sense at the time. Quite often my wife wants to go first when she's searching for my surface contacts and so on, and you know, we get into little fun arguments about, no, it's my turn now, not yours, shut up. She always wins though, obviously. So we'll start off with the Arleigh Burke searching for the Oodaloy. I rolled 2, which is pants. So 5, or the bonus of 5 here, added to the 2 is 7. Signature is 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 over. Awesome. So if we start off with just those are the unclassified contacts. They see each other at radar range. I'll go into that in a second. And they roll. I now have 3 over the target signature, which is that. Fairly simple, fairly self-explanatory. The Udaloy, in return, searches and rolls 4. Now, he's actually done a better job here of searching for the Arleigh Burke. So 4 plus 4 for his search is 8, which is 4 over the Arleigh Burke's rating. The Arleigh Burke has therefore been spotted. Let's get rid of that little helicopter as well. He comes in later. This, in a combat situation in the game, would be bad. Referring to the missile rules, when you work out the attack bonuses between the missile and the ship, these come in. These are important. So, for every inverse point of detection, you have a modifier. So, if you have only got if you have +3 on your next radar search, you have -1 on your attack roll if you shoot at it. If it's there, you have -2, there -3, -4, and I moved out of the way so I can't see it, -5. So a detected ship firing at a completely undetected target is going to do nothing. You might get lucky and you might do a little bit of damage, but chances are your opponent's going to drop chaff and then they're going to go evasive and it's just going to do nothing to the target whatsoever. So these are, it's the higher your classification of a target, the more likely you are to fire a killing shot at it. And that was what I wanted to achieve with the radar rules. You have to hunt for the enemy, and same with the sonar rules. I'll do that in the next video. You have to hunt for the enemy. You have to classify them as effectively as possible and as efficiently as possible, as quickly as possible, and then fire your missiles at that point. If your enemy does that first, you're going to lose, because after the detection phase, comes the missile firing phases, and quite often that's it, game over. If you play a campaign game, perhaps not, but both fleets, every time you've played it, one fleet, squadron actually, not fleet, has been utterly obliterated and the other one has been severely damaged. So the first one to classify quite often wins. In one of my game write-ups, you'll actually see that I've sailed past an island. I have completely failed to classify anything on the Russian fleet, and because the Russian fleet has a bunch of helicopters up, they have classified everything on my fleet. I don't go any further, I turn around, I come back behind the island again, because there's no point me being out there. All that's going to happen is my ship's going to get sunk, and I'm just going to be doing nothing. So, there are obviously going to be modifiers to these tests. Now, the Arleigh Burke does have a slightly better chance of spotting the Udaloy. There are ways that the Arleigh Burke can make its detection harder, same with Udaloy and so on. And these tend to be from environmental situations, so this is why the island's here. If you are within 5 nautical miles, which if I get a ruler and measure that, which is 5 centimetres, there we go, 5 centimetres of a landmass, you are lost in the clutter, as it were, and your opponent has -1 to spot you. If your opponent has stuff above you, so if the helicopter here, which is at level 2, is trying to spot a surface contact, because he is higher up, he has a -1 to spot a surface contact. This brings us into radar ranges. Radar ranges are absolutes. So on the surface, it's 75 centimetres. For a helicopter at altitude 2, it's 145 centimetres, so 145 nautical miles. There are other modifiers that come into this as well. Sorry, my bad. If lands within 5 nautical miles of a target, it's actually -2 on the search, not -1. So here, the Oodaloy would have required a 6 to get the full classification. I rolled 2, and I almost fully classified it. So my chances of spotting it are increased. If I have additional spotting units which have the same or better capability than the unit carrying out the spot, then you get bonuses +1 for each of them to spot a target. Now in this situation, the helicopter actually has a lower radar rating than the Arleigh Burke. So if I was to use the helicopter on its own to spot, I could add the Arleigh Burke's bonus to it, but I'd only get +1, which would actually bring me to exactly the same modifier as the Arleigh Burke has to start with. If I have 2 helicopters up, however, or more, if I can find them, or 3, or 4, however many I have available to me, then I can use these to spot surface targets quite effectively. If I have a whole squadron of ships there, they will spot stuff quite effectively on their own. And that's kind of accurate, correct in a way. The more radar that's out there, the more chance there is of you spotting things. Unlike a lot of rolls of 1 in this game aren't failures. You will actually end up with automatic passes and automatic failures. That's an integral part. So here, if the Arleigh Burke, say there's another Arleigh Burke, because the Arleigh Burke only carries 2 helicopters, he can't carry 3, but suppose there's 3 up. If the Arleigh Burke is at a -1, well, no, let's say we use these guys. So 4, 5, 6, 7 with the overall bonus. If I roll a 1 there, that brings me to 8, and that is an automatic classification against this Oodaloy. I haven't even got to bother rolling the dice. I could do, because, you know, a 1's still perfect to pass there. So you can achieve automatic results in this game. You have to work for them, though. They aren't a given. And if your opponent is sneaky and puts himself up against an island, or does X, Y, and other things to mask their signatures, then it's again a dice game. And that is, for me, and for Luna, and for a lot of the other guys who've played this now as well, part of the entertaining part to it. It's the entertaining side. It's that continual cat and mouse at the start of the game where you try and detect each other's ships. Alright guys, that isn't the best video I've done. I'll actually do another video on radar, and I will go into further detail with it. That was sort of like an overview of it instead of it being the exact thing. Anyway, as I said, I'll update the rules now as well. I'll also put a link below in the description to our Facebook group, which has the rules on it. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're interested in modern naval warfare. I have a lot of other videos planned to do with this. I also have a lot of other videos planned to do with all the other games that Grenzer Games is bringing out. Also, our figure range that we're bringing out in 15mm for Ancients at the moment, which is we're doing the typical Roman Imperial Legionnaires to start with, but we have lots of other stuff planned as well. So yeah, give the video a like, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button so you get notifications when I post. I post every 2 to 3 days. It's not like insane, not getting a video every single day off me, and they'll never be more than about 15 minutes. Anyway guys, thanks for that, and see you soon. Bye bye.